Dan Repacholi, federal member for the Hunter. Thanks for joining me.
Pleasure to be here.
This has been a long time coming, hasn't it?
It's been a little while. It's been hard to get our diaries to align, and I'll just blame my chief of staff chat anyway.
Because I've actually wanted you on this podcast since we started, which is nearly a year ago now. But again, you've been kept busy, with the whole men's envoy, racing around the Australia, doing some great stuff.
Yeah, we've had a lot on. Honestly, it's been phenomenal the amount of interest that has been in this role. Like we got appointed around about just under 12 months ago. Once everything came out now, and it's been phenomenal since it's happened. The amount of people that have reached out, the amount of conversations we're having, and getting all around the country talking to men and talking to women as well, both young men and older men. But also talking to all the different organisations that are there to try and look after men and to try and get healthier men.
One organisation I'll mention, I think it was last week, you were the Healthy Heads in Trucks and Sheds. And I think you got yourself into a rig, didn't you? I think we might have a picture of that.
There we go. Big boy in a big rig.
You know what? You look perfect behind that. I reckon if you were a truck driver, the takeaways along the Pacific Highway would be getting smashed.
Certainly would be, and I don't mind a feed or two, so that's okay. But no, they're a great group, and they're doing good things for the health of truckies, both male and female truckies out there. Yep. They're going to all the truck stops, they're going to all the BP servos, they're stopping. They're having conversations with people who aren't usually having conversations with a health professional. They're getting their blood pressure checked. They're getting their sugar levels checked. They're getting their cholesterol checked. These are things that need to happen because there's so many blokes and women out there that are in this industry that have not been looking after their health. Some of them have said, I haven't seen a GP in over 20 years. So they are ticking time bombs waiting to go. And there's three of those things that you can't tell. You never know your sugar levels, you never know how high your blood pressure is, and you never know how high your cholesterol is. So they're things that really play on you, and if you're not on top of it, it's a ticking time bomb.
And it's a lonely place behind the steering wheel, isn't it? Because again, you've got a lot of time to yourself, and sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad.
That's certainly right, it is. And they're all doing 12-hour plus shifts. They're all working hard. And that's the same as our miners here. Our truckies in the mining industry and down underground, our underground operators down there as well. They're all working a lot of time where they're isolated, they're on their own, they're only having conversations with themselves until they're getting onto the two-way or they're in the crib hut. So there's a lot of time to think, but if you're thinking the thoughts that aren't helpful, it's also very challenging.
You don't see too many blokes buying salad rolls behind those trucks either. I noticed you've slimmed down a bit. I mean, that's another thing too. Just being fit and healthy, or getting fit, is a good mindset as well to have, isn't it?
Certainly is a good mindset, and I'm down 35 kilos now. Still got about 5 to move, and then I'll be happy with where I am. But
where did you put it?
Most of it down the bowl, I think. But that's all right. But no, bit of exercise. I also had help. I also GLP-1s were the thing that helped me as well do it, because I'd go past KFC and the car would just automatically go in there. And once you're in the drive-through, you can't reverse out. They're not designed for that. And then you can't go through and not say hello at the window, because that's pretty rude. So you always buy something.
But it's also too, it's in your mindset too. It's almost like every time of the day, you go, I need something. At the moment, mine's Chico rolls.
Oh, nice. No, I don't mind a Chico roll either. Spring rolls are pretty good too, actually. Yes.
You've been doing a lot of different things lately. And before we get on to some of the important stuff, you're at Flamingos Live.
I was at Flamingos Live, yes.
You recently sang, sang at the Medleys for Melanoma, which was held at that premises. I think we might even have a bit of that.
Melodies for Melanoma. It was a good option. Go make a bit of a dick of myself. It's not a bad thing to go do. So, but we've got some other things coming up very shortly that I'm sure you'll be interested in seeing. It's me a bit footloose. We'll see how we go on the dance floor.
I actually went to Footloose last night, and I was actually expecting you to get up on the boards, but you're just about up for anything, aren't you? When it comes to a bit of fun.
Most certainly. The whole idea about this role is to make sure out there having conversation with people, doing the things that makes people uncomfortable. Because if I can't do that, how can we expect George or Chris or Colin down the street to go do that? We can't. So I'm someone who's been an elected official into the Hunter area, and more than happy to give a go of nearly anything. There's not much we don't say no to, I can promise you.
What's the most embarrassing thing you've had to do?
That one was unique.
It's great.
So we did for Talk to Me Bro. We did a ice bath challenge with those guys in Bellbird.
Yeah.
And I was a bit of a bigger unit then, and I sat down in the ice bath, and my fat ass got caught on the back of the bath and let half the water out. We had to pull it off my ass. So, but anything we can do to get the rig out, anything we can do to just make uncomfortable positions comfortable, that's a good thing.
Can we see that suit in Question Time anytime soon?
Well, I have worn it in Parliament. I've worn it in the Fed chamber, and I've worn it and done a couple of press conferences in it. But that suit was done by Trademark, and they're the guys that do the bright coloured shirts for the conversation starter shirts.
Yep.
So this is one of their designs, and they did this for me to start the conversation, to have that conversation, to be a little bit unique and out there for it, because we need to be thinking outside the square and reaching out to people that do need a bit of help.
Yeah, Wayne Rogers and the gang at Flamingos Live, they do a great job. We did a few live shows there late last year. It's a great venue to go for anything to watch. But
it was good fun. It was honestly good fun, and to raise cash for melanoma research and melanoma cancer. There was 4 of us that did it. We raised over $28,000 between us all, and it was a great night. I made a bit of a dick of myself, had fun, and really just carried on. It was great.
Well, it's funny you say that. I mean, I actually just got a cancer cut out of my arm last week, and it was one of those things that was sitting there for a while, and then it started to grow, and I'm thinking, oh, it's just a wart, and then I went, no, I better have a look at it, and it was a cancer, and they'd cut it out, and now it's been sent away, and now I've got a bit of a nervous wait, but I'm glad I did it, because again, I mean, maybe 10 years ago, I probably would have said bugger it.
That's right. And to any of your listeners out here that are listening to this podcast, right, make sure you do. If you see a freckle that changes, that gets a bit scabby, that gets anything like that, or a mole that's not there, or one that's just came up from nowhere that you haven't seen before, you need to get it checked, because melanoma cancer is huge amongst Aussies because of the lifestyle we live.
Yep.
And why wouldn't we get our rigs out occasionally? We're right on the beach, we're right on the lake, we're in everything that you want to be in this area, and we live in beautiful sunshine. So I understand why we do it, but if we've got to make sure that we do look after ourselves, like slip, slop, slap.
Yep.
It's quite simple at the end of the day.
Well, see, I've been a false sense of security, because I had freckles all over me, freckle face, freckle arms, freckle legs. But as I get older, they all joined up, and I started looking like a Brazilian. So I'm sort of thinking, oh no, I don't need to throw any bloody stuff on me, But obviously it's so important. Also, too, your Facebook posts are quite funny at times. It's always about having being a dag. I think we've got a good bad hair day.
May the 4th be with you. I can't do a good Chewbacca impression, but I try.
Have we got another one? No, we go back. There we go.
Oh, the Sher one. See, this was good. You should see me sitting on a cannon.
I was going to say up at Fort Scratchley, that would have been
I'd look unique on it, but I just can't get that high tune she gets. I've tried, and you've seen my terrible singing earlier. So you guys all heard that earlier. So imagine how poor that'd be on top of the cannon.
You look good with the permed, curly black hair.
It matches the red beard well.
Look, the Farrer by-election, seeing One Nation winning. Are you worried?
Oh, look, at the end of the day, for me, I'll keep doing my job in this area. Yeah. If you had have asked me any time through the 2 elections I've been part of, every election I've been told I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
Every election. Yep. So from the start, One Nation's coming, One Nation's going to win the seat. And at the end of the day, One Nation didn't come and One Nation didn't win the seat. What I'll do is continue to go out and fight hard for the hunter to make sure we don't get left behind, to make sure that we're looking after ourselves with Medicare, to make sure that the Medicare urgent care clinics are going well, to make sure we're getting the infrastructure we need to keep the hunter moving. We have a beautiful place here. We have one of the best electorates in the country right here in the Hunter, and I'm so proud and lucky to represent it. We've got some of the world's best wines. We've got the best coal in the world that gets shipped straight out of the port here in Newcastle, straight out, and powers half the world. While people want to buy that coal, we will always supply them that coal. It creates good, safe, secure employment that we'll make sure always keeps happening whilst there's a demand for it. And demand is strong for decades to come. The Japanese, the South Koreans, they've already indicated that they're here for a long time and that they want our coal for a long time. So that's good. Good for our employment in this area. We also have the equine industry. We have some of the world's best thoroughbreds bred right here in the Hunter. We have the largest saltwater lake in the Southern Hemisphere. We're the number one tourism destination outside of Sydney. We have some of Australia's best restaurants right at our doorsteps. We are so lucky at what we have here, and I'm so lucky to be able to go down to Canberra and make sure I'm banging on those ministers' doors to make sure that we don't get left behind.
There seems to be a little bit of disenchantment in the community at the moment, obviously with the budget, which we'll talk about that in a sec, but even at local elections, with what happened, with Gavin Morris, an independent getting in, you're sort of seeing that little bit of a turn, probably off the back of what's been happening at a federal level.
So look, I disagree a little bit there, and the reason why I disagree a little bit there is there was already an independent mayor here in Newcastle, and Gavin Morris is an engaging figure. Like he really is. Gavin Morris, he was a good candidate. He was a well-known person around the area. So I think Gavin Morris was always in with the number one spot there and the number one shot there. And to be perfectly honest, from all the stuff that I did with Gavin, he's a good bloke.
Yeah,
he's a nice guy. So and I look forward to working with him as well.
Probably more the fact that he won in a real avalanche compared to Ross Kerridge, where Ross sort of just fell over the line. So there has been that movement there, but just the men's health envoy which has kept you busy. This is what we mentioned before. It's a real passion project for you because I suppose you're close to the community that struggles, and the mining community up your neck of the woods where people probably don't speak out. Is it hard these days being a man?
It's hard every day being a man. It's hard every day being a person, to be perfectly honest, in anywhere we live in the world at the moment. Look at the unrest that's happening all around the world. Look at what is happening there. So it's a challenge no matter what, but we need to do the best with what we can. And what we do have in this country is we have fantastic Medicare, we have fantastic health. We just need to make sure we're accessing it. We need to make sure we're having those conversations, talking to those people. If we are struggling, reaching out to somebody, even if it's a mate. Have a conversation with your mate down the pub or down the footy club or cricket club, wherever it is. If you're struggling, have that conversation, because there's always somebody that will listen to you. If someone comes up to you and Michael and says, I'm struggling, you're always going to listen to them. Not a single doubt in the world. Whether you know exactly where to send them or what to do, that's a different story. But the first part is listening and saying, I'm here, more than happy to have a chat with you. And then at the end of it, maybe saying you need to go have a little conversation with your GP. There's
also too, I mean, you're a blokey bloke, and there's men growing up these days, and it's almost like, they get in relationships, and women want men to be that, sensitive new age guy, but also be, strong, and it's a hard balance sometimes. I mean, I know we had that manosphere thing, which I didn't agree with, but you can see how men can probably drop through the cracks and join that type of, I'd say it was like a cult, wasn't it? Where just the way they treat women.
Oh, look, that's exactly right. And the big thing at the end of the day is we just need to treat people with respect.
Yeah.
People are people. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And with it, and I am a blokey bloke, right? But it's okay to be able to go to the footy and play footy on the weekend while you're also doing ballet during the week.
Yeah.
It's okay for a bloke to be doing that. It's okay for a bloke to be able to go and talk about their feelings and then go out and play cricket and be the biggest and worst bloody sledger on the field. That's okay. As long as you're being respectful and having the right conversations. It's okay that we can be at home and be caring and be the caring role model for our kids and then get out there and be in the boxing ring at one of the toughest boxing events that you've ever done. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay to do all these things, and it's okay for us to cry. It's okay for us to show our feelings, and it's okay for us to go and see a health professional and talk about some of the issues that we might be having as well.
It's almost like, in the past, and it still happens, men are probably more liable to talk about their sporting injuries than their mental problems.
100%, that is correct. And this is where we need to change that tune a little bit. And just by some things, like we all grew up saying, have a teaspoon of concrete and harden up.
Yeah.
And usually there's another word added in there. But that's how we all grew up. But it's okay to be able to have that teaspoon of concrete and harden up for the footy field or the cricket or whatever you're going to do. But it's also okay to show your vulnerabilities on the other side. It's okay to look after your health and put your health concerns first. It's okay for you to go and be a nurse or a early childhood educator. It's okay to do all those sorts of things. But these are things that haven't always been shown that is the right thing for a man to do. But it is okay to show vulnerabilities.
I mean the domestic violent rates, which are rising, a lot of people on the front foot about that. It's always in the news, which it should be. But the men's suicide rates are always on the rise as well. That doesn't seem to be in the news as much. You'd love to see something turn around. I mean, being in the media previously, with NBN, we were told don't report suicide because it can trigger suicides. Totally get that. But I had Craig Hamilton on here, a few months ago, and he said, well, that's sort of not working. Where, by not talking about it, it doesn't work. So maybe being on the front foot more will work.
That's right. And we need to think outside the box because unfortunately we're going to keep seeing all these rates continue to rise unless we do start thinking about things a little bit different. And Craig Hamilton's an absolute legend. G'day, Craig. How are you if you're listening to this? He's an absolute superstar at what he does. And I think it's fantastic that he had the courage to come out and be able to have the conversations and be able to talk about his situation, his real lived experience in this. He does such a magic job in this, and we need to get more people like Craig having these conversations and letting the world know and their mates know that it is okay to not be okay. It is okay to need to have these conversations along the way. And as long as we speak about suicide in the right way, then talking about it, that's a good thing. Because we need to be changing the idea and the conversation around it. And
I mean, there's so many reasons as to why it happens. And I mean, do you feel that sometimes there's so many different genres? Child support, I mean, that's another big killer of men because of being depressed, not seeing kids and stuff like that. I know it happens both sides, but I hear blokes that have been, that work in the mines in the pit, and they say, mate, you should listen to some of the chats in the cribs about child support. There's a podcast just there. But some of the rulings, and I've seen some of them because I've been part of that. Some of them are so draconic. It's almost like if you change some of these rules, maybe it'd save some lives. But again, we get onto something totally different.
Yeah, that's right, and it's a challenging beast. The whole family law thing is a very challenging area. There has been some things changed federally that have definitely helped in this space, and there's still more conversations happening all the time. I've spoken to the Attorney General many times on this, and it is definitely an area that needs to be looked at and needs to have some different communication around. And then obviously there's the state side of things that comes into it with the child support and all that sort of things. It's a very fractured area.
Yeah, absolutely. The cost of living is becoming a real men's health issue as well, isn't it?
Cost of living is an everybody health issue.
Yeah. But I suppose for the families where the man is the provider, it certainly is.
Yep. I guarantee you though, Michael, if you went to most of the businesses around the area, right, and if you work for them and you said to them, I'm struggling, I need to have a day off to go see my GP to get my health in order, I don't reckon there'd be too many that'd be saying that that's an issue. And if they are, maybe you need to have a rethink about who you work for.
Did you struggle with mental health yourself?
Yes and no. Yeah, like I'm a sports person. We have our ups and downs in our careers. We have extremely high highs, but I can tell you we have some dramatic lows as well, and you have that in sport. And I've been through every different one of those phases through that, and there's certainly times where I've had to have conversations, not a doubt in the world, about my sporting achievements and also sporting disappointments too.
And I suppose just with that, I mean, what's more brutal, an Olympic Games pressure or question time in Canberra?
Oh, question time's easy. Question time's just a bit of a. I think it's more for the media, the question time, just so they get something to show on the TV for the evening. But no, the Olympics is definitely the way bigger pressure there.
I mean, just staying on the men's health envoy. I mean, what do you hope to change in the long run, where people look back and say you made a difference?
So the biggest thing, if we can have one thing change in this country, this sounds so easy, right? If we could just get 10% more of the Aussie male population to get to the GP every 12 months and get a blood test, we will save thousands and thousands of lives in this country. Just by that simple little thing of making an appointment with your GP and going and seeing them every 12 months, the amount of lives that will be saved will be phenomenal. If I can see that happen from what this role is of Men's Health Envoy, that would be an absolute game changer for men in this country. Yeah,
absolutely. Also too, I mean, with what you're doing, should there be a minister for men? I mean, there's a minister for women.
Oh, there is a minister for women, and you would have seen my comments probably just before the last election saying that I think there should be a minister for men.
Yeah.
And this is the first step that any government has ever done in this country to go in the right direction for blokes.
Yeah.
So I'm extremely proud of the Albanese Labor government for seeing that this is an issue and for actually having the courage and the balls to put somebody in here. Because don't get me wrong, when this announcement was when this position was announced, we were attacked from all sides, from the very far right, the very far left. We were attacked from both those on this, and. Yeah. The sensible people in the middle are the ones to work with, but it was quite unique at the very start, I could tell you, because it's new. It's something that hadn't been done before, but something that we need to make sure we do. And as I said, I'm very proud of the Albanese Labor government, whether it was me or whether it was somebody else, one of the other 94 people in Labor's side of politics. As long as it was one of us, I didn't care. Yeah. But I'm very lucky to have got it.
I know there was a Senate inquiry where a One Nation senator, bring up One Nation, he asked Penny Wong, should there be a minister, for men, and she sort of scoffed at the question. And I thought at the time that just the way she reacted to the question is pretty much the reason why there should be one.
Yeah, look, and I haven't seen that one because I've had a couple of people ask me about it, but I genuinely haven't had time to go back and have a look. So, and the Senate's a different beast. The Senate, they get up and talk about all these other things and have different arguments. They have very different rules in the Senate to what we have in the House of Representatives. Some would say we're the more, what's the right word? We're more civil.
But could you see what you're doing now morph into a minister for men?
I hope it does. Personally, I hope it does. I hope it does get to go into that, and I think it's really, really important. But we'll keep doing what we're doing, and the big part of that is making sure that we're putting men's health front and centre so that people see it and people are aware of it.
Now, Dan, we've got a live sponsor ad I'm going to mention. You can chime in at any time, but I don't know whether you will. We have a new sponsor that's jumped on board called Confessions Boutique at Charlestown, which is a sex shop.
Good work.
Now, whether you're feeling adventurous, romantic, or curious, do you feel like that lately, Dan?
I feel like it very, very often.
Let Confessions Boutique turn an ordinary night into a very interesting one. Turn up the heat with top quality adult toys, gifts, games, which will see a Netflix night turn into something completely different. Confessions Boutique are fun, classy and discreet for singles, couples. They specialise in spicing things up behind closed doors. You can find them at Shop 1, 222 Pacific Highway, Charlestown. Any special requests there?
Yeah, well, Confessions Boutique, I can tell you, I'll be stopping by next time I'm out to see Pat Conroy in his office, because it won't be too far from there.
Beautiful.
At Elk Architecture, we don't just design buildings, we shape the spaces where life happens. From concept to construction, our award-winning architects bring our vision to life with precision, passion and purpose. Whether it's your dream home or your next big commercial project, Trust Elk Architecture to build what matters most. Elk Architecture, designed for life, built for the future. Everyone deserves the chance to live life their way. At Connectability, they support people with disabilities to build confidence, independence, and real connections in their community. With allied health services and capacity building supports for children and adults, they help people develop the skills they need to grow, learn, and thrive. From daily living and community participation to NDIS support coordination and supported independent living. Connectability is there to help you achieve your goals, dreams, and aspirations. Connectability, supporting people, strengthening communities.
What if your home could sell for more without a full renovation? From simple refreshers to complete pre-sale transformations, we help unlock your home's true value. At Mitchell & Beasley, we specialise in property styling and cosmetic upgrades to make your home stand out. Mitchell & Beasley, where presentation meets results.
Mate, just staying on something funny, Burgers of the Hunter calendar. It's made a return in 2026. What's the best burger going around at the moment?
So there's two, and it's hard to have a best. It's like picking the favourite kid. But at the end of the day, there's two that are probably the best burgers in the Hunter that I've had so far out of all the additions, and that is for a normal burger, a burger with lettuce, tomato, onion, and cheese. The Cheeky Fiend from Burger Fiend in Cessnock.
Yeah.
That's a go-to regularly for me.
Is that the one as you're coming into Cessnock on the left?
So no, it's around near Woolies and Coles.
Wow, because
So
you've got another
back
good
there.
one, that what I just mentioned.
Yeah.
Just you go past the public school, that one on the left.
That
It's sort of
is,
just a bit
yes.
of a hard turn, a bit of a corner there, but
The Slab, I think they're called. That's and they do smoked meats there. They're delicious too. Honestly, we're pretty lucky for food all around the Hunter. But they do fantastic pies as well. And then you got also. Pie Hole is another good pie shop as well. They do really good pies. But anyway, we're getting back to burgers now. Sounds like all I do is eat. But
We
I
can
do
morph
actually
into
do
pies.
some work too. But the best for a different burger in the Hunter is Burgers by HMC. It's in Branxton.
Yep.
They do a dry aged cheeseburger, and it is divine. I usually get double patty with bacon on there as well, and it is a ripper.
I think that place can jump on board as a sponsor next week, by the way. Mate, barbecue or pickles?
Tomato sauce and pickles. No barbecue. Barbecue sauce is inferior. And I know this is going to piss a lot of people off, but barbecue sauce, I'm a tomato sauce fan, especially on a bacon egg roll as well and a burger.
Yep.
Unless it's like a homemade barbecue sauce, then a bit different. But just a regular one you buy at Woolies or Coles, I'm more of a tomato sauce.
I know you morphed into the pies a minute ago, but since when you go to a pie shop, you had an option to have barbecue sauce on a pie. It should never have been.
Never.
Like,
Shouldn't
it
even
should-
be an option.
Absolutely.
That's right.
You know, and I'm thinking, I don't think I've ever seen anyone ask for barbecue sauce, so I give them the option in the first
Exactly
place.
right.
I think we've got one of Albo launching that calendar. He doesn't look like he loves too many burgers. He's a little bloke.
He is a little bloke. So, but that's okay. I was a bit bigger there too. Got a little bit more tonnage on me, and I got to in that weight journey, and I had my own issues with talking about it and going and seeing my GP. I got to 152 kilos, so I'm a big guy,
Wow.
so I could hide it well. But I was a massive unit and had to do something about it, or else I wasn't going to be here around for much longer to spend with my kids or possibly grandkids.
I've got to say too, like I used to work up at Scone for a while, and 5 o'clock in the morning or 5:30 in the morning, you stop at Rutherford Servo, and there's miners, obviously, all tracking up the road. They're going in, they're buying like a 4-pack of mother drink, energy drinks and sausage rolls, and get their hand on. It's almost like it's the last thing that they're going to get to eat before they get to the mine. It's going to catch up with them.
That's it. So, and we need to. It's just a bit about planning, a bit about being prepared, and It's hard sometimes, though. It's hard to get your life in order to be able to do all that. We all have busy lives, so I still fall off the bandwagon now every now and then and have to give myself a foot in the arse and say, come on, let's get back to what you're going to do. Because I love a beer, I love a burger, I just enjoy life. And sometimes we just enjoy it a little bit too much.
Would there be a 2027 edition?
There'll be a 2027 edition, yes.
Just a quick one. I got a funny story. I used to be a tradesman for 20 years, and used to sit around at lunchtime, and I think it was behind John Hunter Hospital when they were doing an extension. God, back in the 90s, and you know the painters are there, the electricians, we're all sitting out the back talking shit. You know, all of a sudden this plumber turns up with this hamburger. It was a Works burger. And we're all sitting there talking, and he's like taking it out, and he's taking a bite, and he's going, oh, fuck, and he's thrown it in the air. And we're like, what? And he's going, Jesus Christ, you know? Well, what's wrong? They left the fucking egg ring in there.
Oh, jeez. That would be rough. That would be rough. And so I just want to ask you a question now.
Yeah.
Tradie. You weren't a leco, were you?
No, a carpet.
Carpenter, good work.
No,
so you were a tradie.
Carpet layer.
Carpet layer, oh, very nice.
Absolutely. And
good.
And do you know what?
You got the hands for it too. They look like they've done a bit of work.
Well, you know why? Because, and a lot of people don't know this, but I mean, I was a carpet layer for 21 years. Got out of it, got into journalism, MBN, Channel 10, I did stuff for Triple M, ABC. And one day I thought, I want to go back to laying carpet. And I still do now.
Good on you.
And I've been back doing it for 4 years. And this is like something, it's just scratching an itch, you know, because I always knew I was a good interviewer. And this is why there's so many interesting people, especially just in the Hunter, like yourself.
There's hundreds and hundreds of them in the Hunter that are great, interesting people.
And as you know, the media these days, sadly, it's diminishing in so many ways, whether it's newspaper, television. And to get even sitting down with you for an hour like this, you get to learn a lot more than a quick grab on NBN.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
You know? Yeah. And I just think that's so important.
And we could talk about the positives, the negatives, and everything in between in these sorts of interviews, where quite often, unfortunately, you don't see a whole lot of positives on the news cycles now, because it's not as exciting for people to see, as sad as that is to say.
You know what? It's again, like I'm going into people's homes and I'm getting their stories as well, and I go into a lot of over 55 villages as well, and. Again, men that... what's that? What's that about?
We're trying to get Chad to move into one. Yeah, so he's at the right age group, and they're a great way of living. They really are, Michael. So can you talk it up to Chad, just the ones you've been to? I think it's
Actually,
great.
He's not going to want to hear this, because when I go in there, the women are doing some great stuff. They're crocheting and they're doing stuff with other women within there. You go to the men are just sitting in their garage. It's almost, it sounds awful, it's like they're waiting to die, because when you've got a house, you've got stuff to do. You know, you're hedging.
You're always mucking around, yeah.
Cleaning the pool,
yeah.
Doing all that sort of stuff. You feel like you're like a racehorse. You've got to be in work. When you go to these places, everything's done for you. There's a contractor comes in, hedges, mows and stuff like that. That's why probably men's sheds are so important. But I see it a lot in these over 55 villages where, again, there's a lot to do for the women, because women get on with women all the time, where men sometimes it takes, a lot of men don't, sort of warm to someone. It takes a while.
Takes a bit of work. That's exactly
women
right.
can sort of converge straight away, where, that's a real problem in there.
Yeah, it certainly is. And this is where a lot of the new over 55s villages are getting much better at this.
Yeah.
They've got men's sheds incorporated into them, or groups like that can do that. They've got bowling greens, they've got water aerobics, they've got so many different things, and they actually have got get-togethers that happen for just blokes and just women as well. So a lot of the newer ones are really seeing this, that there was an issue in the past, and they're trying to do a lot better in this space, which is great, because we're social people. Even us blokes are social people as well, and we need to get out and have those conversations. So if you are in an over 55s village and you've got all these different things at your fingertips, go out and reach out to them, have the chat with them.
Maybe if Palm Lakes does a rugby union first 15, Chad might be interested.
Yeah, maybe. He's in the right age group, so he'd be able to do that.
Believe me, Chad, don't go in them. I don't want to go in there. Just in regards to shooting, have you been doing much shooting lately? Does it take your mind off things?
Oh, a little bit. We do a little bit, but not as much as what I...
young whippersnapper there.
I'm a little boy there, yes. Not as much as I used to, obviously. And for me now, my international career is finished in pistol shooting now, because I just don't have the time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the time to give it I need to be able to compete at an international level. I could still try and still do all that sort of stuff, but it's not fair on my family.
Yep.
If I don't think I can go there and win... I would rather not. I would rather spend that extra time I have with my family.
Because you're pretty devastated you didn't make that last one, weren't you?
Yeah, of course.
But again, you probably realised, I'm a parliamentarian now. It was always going to be hard.
That was always going to be hard, and every Olympics is hard to get to. Not a single doubt in the world. And that's been the whole way through since I first started and first tried in the 2000 Olympics all the way through.
Yeah.
Every single one has been challenging to get to. So you just work with the situation that you're working with at that time and that place. And for me, I was honestly burning the candle at both ends, and either I was going to make it or I wasn't, and unfortunately I didn't make it. But that's sport. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, and you've just got to learn how to deal with that and bounce back. I've been very lucky. I've always had, through my shooting career, I've always worked full time. I've always had other things to go back to. Where some athletes don't have other things to go back to. Some athletes have put absolutely everything into it. They've left school early, they haven't done uni, they haven't done TAFE, they haven't done anything else, and they've just gone and worked solely on making an Olympic Games team and then going there to win. There's only very few people that do win. There's very few people that actually make an Olympic Games team in the first place, and then even less that actually can go there and win. So there is huge highs and huge lows for those people as well, especially if they don't have a lot they can go back to apart from their families and friends. But one of the biggest things is, no matter whether you win or lose, your family always loves you. Your mates and your friends always love you. They love you for who you are. And at the end of the day, that's what people need to remember, because they're the ones that will help you get through it, whether you come back a winner or whether you come back not achieving exactly what you wanted as well.
Is that little bit of white line fever involved? When you represent Australia, there must be this massive high, and then you come back and it's just like
Yeah, of course, there certainly is, and it's because you train and you work your ass off for a goal that you've had for sometimes your whole sporting career, and then either you make that goal or you don't make that goal at the end of the day. And so when you do come home, you do need to come home and make sure you have the right team around you as well. And this is where some of the sporting organisations are doing a lot better at making sure they're looking after people after their sporting careers are finished, because they finish in all different ways.
Yeah.
Some of the ones I feel for so much are the people who are involved in athletics or sports where it's high intensity straight away, where you could pull a hammy.
Yep.
You could be in training, you could pull a hammy the week before you go to the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
That's your whole Olympic career. That's that Olympic cycle finished and done. Like, it's hard to come back from.
There was a local athlete, and this is going back probably about early 2000s. Her name was Laura Whaler, and she was a sprinter. Used to train over at Glendale all the time, and she wasn't the fastest in Australia, but she knew she had a chance of making the relay team. So she worked her ass off for like 3 years trying to make. I think it might have been the Delhi Games. Anyway, she made this relay team, and all of a sudden, right at the last minute, the Australian Olympic Committee decided we're not going to send a relay team, and it was just like. I thought it was like that different high. I've made it, and all of a sudden it was like the rug was pulled out from under their feet.
Yeah, that's right. And this is the challenges we have in sport. But the NRL, AFL, soccer, all of them face this. Cricketers, and it doesn't matter whether you're playing at the top level of your sport or whether you're just playing at the local club level. Injuries can stop you. Missing out on the team can stop you, and these are all things that you have to deal with and learn how to cope with them along the way, because sometimes it's challenging, and that's where you need to make sure you have the right team around you to be able to get you to boost back to either hopefully get back in that side or be able to continue to be in that side.
Did you play much rugby league?
No, not much rugby league. Played a bit of AFL.
Yep.
Played a lot of basketball. Because I didn't grow up in the Hunter. I grew up in Victoria and moved to the Hunter in 2009.
Oh, there you go.
So that's where the AFL side comes into it. But I played a lot of basketball too.
I reckon you'd be a pretty good full forward. A lot of people would be struggling to.
I wasn't quality. I definitely was not quality. I can promise you that.
I remember going to a local AFL game once, and I'm looking at it going, "Oh my God, this is horrible." And someone said to me, "Yeah, this is what happens when you're not good at soccer, you're not good at league, you're not good at union. You just go there, and it's just like a bloody prison yard with a ball thrown in."
That'd be good to see. Good to see.
Just with social media, you get a lot of people coming on. They're pretty hostile to you, but you give it back. But you do it in a classy way, and a very subtle way, don't you? There's a way of doing it.
Yes, sometimes. Sometimes it's subtle. Other times it's not so subtle. But sometimes, like, if you're not going to say something to somebody in person, you should never say it on social media. You should never put that in writing on a social post. If you ask me, if you're not willing to be able to say that to somebody in person, it's interesting because you'll have some people that will put horrible things up on social media, then try and talk to you down the street.
Yep.
And I've got no time for that. To be perfectly honest, like if you're going to be a prick, you're going to be a prick. But why hide behind a keyboard to do it? Yeah. Like have the guts to actually have the conversation rather than hiding behind either a fake username or the keyboard to be able to try and get your point across.
And I suppose, especially with politics, you're not going to change their mind, are you?
No, that's it. And for us, it's not to change people's mind. For us, it's to make sure that we're trying to deliver for the community and give the community what the community need. That's ultimately at the end of the day what we're all trying to do, to make sure that we don't get left behind in all of our areas and to try and make sure that we can make Australia a better place. And between all the different parties that are out there and all the different groups that are out there, we all have our own unique way of trying to do that. And some people will agree with it, some people won't. And that's one of the best things that we have in this country is that we go to a federal election every, say, 3 years, roughly. That we go to a federal election and then everybody gets their chance to vote for who they think has the best policies of that time. I think that's one of the greatest things that we have in this country because we get to have that choice. Where we could be in a different country where it's a dictatorship and that's not good for anyone.
The budget, there was some broken promises. Have you had your armour on the last week or so?
Oh, not really, to be perfectly honest. The conversations I've been having is that we're here to help young people. We need to make some changes in the market. And at the end of the day, the people who have been able to get into the housing market and also have some extra houses and be able to negative gear them and things like that, good on them. They've been able to do that, and I respect that, fully respect that. And they will be able to keep having all of those as well because it's grandfathered. So nothing in their actual life changes right now, but for them to actually go back and be able to do it again, they have to do it with a new dwelling, which I think is great because it adds more houses into the market and gets more opportunities for other people to be able to get into them as well, and younger people to be able to buy into the market as well, because we need to make sure we're looking after everyone. So this gives the best of both worlds, if you ask me. You still have the opportunity to negative gear if you want to, but it's just with a new dwelling, and you're still able to get into the market a bit easier because you're not fighting against 20 or 30 or 40 other people that are in there that aren't fighting against you now to buy that place.
Before we get a little bit more into that, I mean, I suppose the big question is that it's said that how can anyone trust Labor after breaking that promise with anything else going forward? That's a bit of a worry too?
Honestly, it's not a worry for me. And if people want to have that opinion, that's okay. I learnt one thing pretty quickly in this job. I used to say opinions are like arseholes. We've all got one. But now I say opinions are like your knees or your elbows because we've all got two of them. So at the end of the day, people will have their opinion along the way. Yeah. But you know what they also need to remember as well is all the additions we've had into bulk billing, all the additions we've had into cheaper medicines, all the additions we've had into infrastructure all around this wonderful country of ours. They need to remember that, but they also need to remember their kids and their grandkids that are struggling to get into the housing market, that we've been being told for so long that there's an issue there, and now we've actually gone and done something about it. So people will have their thoughts and have their opinions on that. but it's what we deliver in this space as well, and delivering for this to actually be something that is a change that we have not seen for decades in this whole system. Actually having the courage to go and do that, that's a good thing if you ask me.
I mean, to be fair, governments in the past, both sides, have broken promises,
that's
over decades, both sides. And I suppose the fact that Jim Chalmers did it on a budget night for all to see, it's he's got some kahunas.
He was certainly bold on it, and good on him. I'll take my hat off to him for having the balls to do it, and he could have done this so many other ways that were much easier. That was a much easier conversation to have for the Australian public. But to be able to change it and do what he did and see the changes that he thinks this is going to make, that's a good thing, and a good thing to show to the Australian public that we are willing to make tough decisions too, and that we are willing to do the best to what we can do to govern this amazing country.
I mean, I personally think that limiting negative gearing to new builds will simply drive up prices for those new properties, reduce investor confidence across the market. How about reducing taxes for younger people? Would that have been a better option maybe?
Yeah, look, I don't know. I'm not. I'll be perfectly honest here. I'm not privileged to all of the doings in the budget area in the Treasury's office. So they looked upon this and have done what they think is right. And as I said, I don't get to see all of the background stuff. There's always more we can do though. No matter what we do, Michael, there's always more we can do. And this is a step in the right direction, if you ask me.
I mean, housing affordability is brutal in Newcastle and the Hunter. I mean, do you think that the budget will genuinely move the needle?
I hope it does. I certainly hope it does. And I hope that we've done this to make a difference. And only time will tell. There's not a single doubt in the world there. And I'm sure if you had spoken to the architects of negative gearing and what changed that space in the early 2000s, I'm sure they'd say a different thing as to where it's up to now. So we just have to wait and see, and this is what all policies we have to deal with. We've just got to wait and see what happens, but this is what we think is the right way of going forward to genuinely make a difference for all Australians, and especially those younger Australians trying to get into the housing market.
Some people are saying that it was made to reinforce younger voters for Labor, which traditionally now are starting to vote more Labor.
Oh, look, voters vote whichever way they choose and feel on the day and at that time of their life. And for me, as long as voters are voting on the things that matter to them, that is going to be best for them and their families, they will vote whichever way they think is best. Whether that's Labor, whether it's Greens, whether it's Liberals, Nationals, whether it's One Nation, whether it's Clive Palmer, whatever he's going to call himself this time, whatever it is, or whether it's an independent. Like, we live in a country where we get to choose who our elected officials are, and that's a great thing.
It's become more volatile now, isn't it, voting? It's regards to, back in the day, you grew up in a Labor or Liberal household, that's who you voted for. Where now, it's not so much. It's really, it goes on policies and what's best for you. And especially this time with affordability, the cost of living, really people are wanting something. It's like, we need that hit now at the next election, regardless of what colour I had on the back before.
That's exactly right. And the swing voters are the voters that are the ones that are the hardest ones, obviously, to work with. Like, we all have our people that love Labor and have always loved Labor. Yep. We all have our people that have loved the Coalition and have always loved the Coalition. It's that group in the middle that does vote the way that affects them the most. They're the ones that are ultimately, at the end of the day, the hardest to please, obviously, because they are voting on what really matters to them at the end of the day.
In the world of construction, precision isn't optional, it's essential. For over 35 years, Newcastle Sheet Metal has delivered high-quality ductwork, fabrication and installation on time, every time. From large-scale commercial projects to precision custom work, we don't just meet deadlines, we set the standard. Newcastle Sheet Metal, built on experience, driven by quality.
Don't live near the beach and wondering what the waves are like? Then wonder no more. And check out Tez's Newcastle Surf Report on Facebook and Instagram. Up around 7:15 every morning, giving you a comprehensive view of the waves and a full explanation of what's happening with the wind and the weather and the tides and everything you need to know about going surfing. And flying in the best conditions. So, yeah, check it out online on Instagram and Facebook. It's Tez's Newcastle Surf Report.
But what's the price to pay? Lost generation.
Escape the city and discover the magic of the Hunter Valley with HV Tours. From world-class wineries and craft breweries to gourmet food, cheese, chocolate, gin and breathtaking views. This is more than a tour, it's an experience. Small groups, relaxed vibes, local guides and unforgettable memories, all without the stress of driving. Whether it's a romantic getaway, birthday celebration, Hens Weekend or just a day out with friends, Hunter Valley Tours delivers the ultimate wine country experience. Book your next escape now at HV Tours and let the good times roll.
Just regards to the negative gearing and all that with the houses, with so many people migrating to Australia each year, is that sort of going to maybe counteract what you're trying to do for the younger people because there's so many coming in?
I don't think so, and we've only got at the migration rate, is it 185,000 is for that, but then there's students that come over, there's backpackers that come over on working holidays, and then there's the tourism visas that are issued as well, that people forget about these, right? If we don't continue to offer them out, the Hunter dies. We're the number one tourism destination outside of Sydney in New South Wales. We need to make sure that we do that. And so much of that is from tourism through people coming over here on working holidays, people coming over here as backpackers, students, and people coming over here as tourists as well.
Do you think people would forego that for the time being just to get their life back on track? You know what I'm saying?
If you ask any business in the Hunter that question, I can guarantee you what they're going to tell you. They would be shutting their doors if we did not have the tourism happening. They would be shutting their doors tomorrow. They wouldn't be getting the employees to go and work for them. We wouldn't be getting aged care workers. We wouldn't be getting our universities with students that then can help our Aussie students as well, be our permanent citizens, be able to get the learning that they need at universities as well. We need to have immigration in this country, not a single doubt in the world. We can't fill our jobs we have now, Michael. And we have, if you just look right now, if you looked up fitters, boilermakers, electricians and auto electricians, there'd be 1,000 jobs just here in the broader Hunter area that are going unfilled. And then if you add into that early childhood educators, aged care workers, NDIS workers, all of these other areas, there's hundreds and hundreds of more jobs that are going unfilled right now because we just don't have the people to fill them.
But you must admit that hospitals and healthcare is heaving at the moment because of the pressure of more people.
I wouldn't say it's because of the pressure of more people. I would say it's because of a lot of understaffing in those hospitals as well. So we need to make sure that we're doing the right things in helping getting the staff for all of these places.
And look, I'm just going to put it out there. I mean, like, I'm all for immigration. I mean, again, I grew up at Broadmeadow High School. My best mates were Greeks, Italians, Croatians, Massos. They all went. Their fathers were working at the BHP. They all came out and made a life for themselves. And even these guys, it still makes them at this day, they're going, we come from a family of immigrants, but even we don't agree that, there's people coming out that's not coming out to build a life. There's a bit of a difference here.
I disagree. I disagree there. They are coming out to build a life. They're coming out to a beautiful country of where we all live, and they are definitely trying to build a better life for them and their families, just like all those other immigrants did, just like my relatives did in the past. We're all, unless we're of Indigenous background in this country, we're all immigrants one way or another, and we all came here for all different reasons. And I do firmly believe everyone that is coming into this country is to try and have a better life for them and their family.
Something that happened the other day, Todd Sargent's radio breakfast program on 2NURFM, he did a radio Facebook poll, and the question was, should non-citizens be entitled to welfare payments? 438 votes, 93%, which was 410 votes, said no. 2%, 10 votes said yes, 4%, 18 votes were unsure. I suppose a vote like that, a poll like that, is the pure pub test. I don't know,
yeah, that's right.
but it's those figures are quite striking.
Yeah, they certainly are striking. There's no doubt in the world there about that. But it's whether are you going to tell the 86-year-old grandma, your Italian nonna, that now you can't go and see the GP? Are you going to tell your 86-year-old nonna that? Because I know I wouldn't be telling mine that, because that's not fair. At the end of the day, they've lived here, they've paid their taxes here, and they've worked here. Just because they're not a citizen, it doesn't mean they're not giving back to the community and giving back to this country. So if they're working here and their life is here, that's a different story. And I think it's a bit hard to run a poll like that, right, without having the proper parameters around it. Like, were they working? Were they just people who just arrived? Were they this? Were they that? Were they that? Like, if you explain to George down the street or in the pub that his 86-year-old nonna who's worked here her whole life, who isn't an Australian citizen and might not be able to speak English, is going to get deported from the country and isn't actually going to be able to have any help. Like, that's a unique conversation to have.
I don't think it's more a case of the people that are already in here. I think they're more or less saying in the future we need to sort of just rein it in a little bit. Not saying that we don't open it up later down the track when we get a bit more sustainable with the health system, with hospitals, to get it to flourish again so we can bring more in.
And this is the question that you need to have with these sorts of polls, because these are the bits that are always the unknown. And with what we have in this country, we have an amazing country, and we need to make sure we're doing the best for it and the best for its citizens and looking after the place. And we do have people that come over here and work. If they're working here, paying their taxes here, and making a life here, and haven't become an Australian citizen yet, do you think it's not fair that they can still, because they're contributing to our economy and our way of life, do you think it's fair that they can't go see a GP and get that bulk billed for their family?
Yep, fair call.
And it's just looking at a different lens. Like, we can always say one thing and your mind straight away goes over here. But if they are giving back to the community, giving back to the country, then it's a different conversation. Because I can promise you that most of the restaurants in the Hunter Valley, they wouldn't be able to get a chef.
Yeah.
Most of the aged care facilities in the Hunter Valley, they wouldn't be able to get their staff. It just won't work.
I think it's more of a case. It's just such in their mind frame, right at the front of their brain at the moment. The petrol, the cost of living and all that sort of stuff. It's probably accentuates what we're just talking about.
Oh, it definitely does. And because it is tough right now. There's not a doubt in the world it's tough. We've got fuel prices that are high. We've got grocery prices that are high because of fuel. We've got inflation that's gone up because of fuel. We've got so many different things that have happened in this space, all because of something that's happening over on the other side of the world that we have absolutely no control about. Same as what was happening and is still happening in Ukraine. Our power prices were extremely high for a period there. Because of that, we have seen some changes, and we have seen them come down a bit now, which is good. And the wholesale price has actually came down by quite a lot. So that is filtering through to households now. But there's also a lot of other cost of living measures that we've done. We've done the cheaper childcare, the cheaper medicines, like locking in at the PBS for $25 or $7.70, I think it is, if you're on a concession card. Putting more medicines onto the PBS. The $9,000 over a period of time of changes in what low-income workers have been getting. Like, there is huge amounts of cost of living things that we've done. And sure, don't get me wrong, there's more that we can always do. But it's also got to work within everything that else is happening as well.
Just your thoughts. I've always wanted to ask you this question, just the way things are, the pressures. $600 million to PNG to have an NRL club. Your thoughts on that?
I reckon we should have got another team here in Newcastle.
Well,
no,
I think most
I'm
people would rather that.
So, but with that, that's also tied into a few other things as well.
Yeah, I know, I get that.
Yeah.
But it's not a good look. I mean, again, that money will eventually run out as well. How long will that be sustained for? And I think again, you're looking at people struggling. You're seeing, Luai, sign a tax-free deal over there, all that sort of stuff. And again, it was well done to Peter V'landys. Kudos to him. He he's one of the greatest sporting administrators ever that nutted that out. But again, it's just sort of, if I was on the opposition or anything, I'd be bringing it up every day of the week going, well, look at this.
Yeah, they were pretty happy with it too, I think, the opposition. So I think you had both sides of politics together on this one. And you should get Pat Conroy on the show to talk about this, who's the Minister for the Pacific. And I'm sure he'd love to have a chat on that. But it'll be a good addition into our comp. It'll be good for our players to get over there and showcase to PNG just how good our game is here and how good our people are, and also to continue the relationships with the Pacific.
Yeah.
They are major things that we need to make sure that we're doing in this country
But
as
I
well.
think we have done a lot for PNG over the years too, haven't we?
Oh, we certainly have.
So, I mean, I don't
Certainly
think we
have.
need
And
to
they've
butter
also
them
done
up.
a lot for us too.
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
PALM scheme and the workforces that come over and help us in dealing with what we deal with our shortages. So it goes both ways, but I think they'll be a great addition to the.
I just think with that, I think people don't have a problem with it, but if it was done by an outside source and not, taxpayers' money, I think that would be a different story. Now, we touched on the One Nation, Stuart Bonds. He'll be coming up against you. Considering the Farrer by-election, is he starting to make waves in your electorate?
Oh, look, Stuart and I are mates. Stuart and I catch up every now and then and we actually talk pretty regularly. And at the end of the day, we don't even know whether he's the candidate for the federal election, because the federal election's still 2 years away. So who knows what can happen between now and then. We've got a state election in between. We've got lots of things going on in the place. And we've just got to wait and see where it gets to at the end of the day. But I'll just keep doing what I do and getting out there, talking to the community, listening to the community and seeing what we can do to make the Hunter a better place, and also having the tough conversations that I have to. Along the way. And it's easy to be a party of protest, but to actually get in and govern, it's a very different story.
Yeah, and you'd know all about that. But I suppose something that that gets debated a lot. Considering that you've worked in the mines and joined the government with a net zero goal. Has that been the toughest balance for you?
Not at all. And I've had this question asked me thousands of times, and people are surprised when I say not at all, because net zero is not zero. So zero emissions is impossible to get to. Net zero is very easy to get to through engineering, through changes of how you're working your mine site as such or your facility. And it's also about offsets as well. It's about offsets that you can have to help with your emissions structure. So there's the safeguard mechanism there that sets all this out of what they can and can't do and how they can do it. And they can all achieve their emissions goals through that. It just depends on how they do it. And as I say regularly to everyone, whilst people want to buy our coal, we will always sell them our coal. It doesn't matter whether it's thermal coal, whether it's coking coal. Whilst there's a demand for it in the market, we will sell it into that market. It creates safe, secure employment the whole way along. And as I said earlier in the show, Japan, South Korea, they're all looking for long-term deals here. We send to many other places all around the world as well, and we'll continue to do that whilst there's a market there for it. That market will one day change though. Not a doubt in the world there. It's just how long it takes. And the people in the mining industry here understand that too. And we'll just keep working with that along the way. And we only use around about 7% of our own coal in this country. 93% of it is exported straight out of the largest coal port in the world, which is right here in Newcastle, which is fantastic. And whilst, as I said, whilst people want to buy it, we'll always sell it. But with our own coal-fired power stations, they are coming to their end of life, and no government is making that decision, whether they come to their end of life or not. That is all purely done from a business point of view.
And now Stuart Bonds has asked to ask a question. Now, he's going to be on in a few weeks' time, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask a question to him while he's on as well. So, he says, you've long said that the decisions around coal mines will be made in boardrooms in Switzerland, Shanghai and Tokyo, but this year the New South Wales Labor government has said there will be no more greenfield sites opening in the Hunter. They effectively ban new coal operations. As of this year, we have 39 active coal mines and power stations in New South Wales. They employ 25,000 people directly and around 200,000 indirectly. By 2050, there will be no active coal assets in the Hunter. What are the people going to do? Where are the jobs going to replace these mining jobs? Where are they coming from? And where do they sit on the scale of what's been taken away?
So does Stuart Bonds have a crystal ball to say that we're going to have no coal mines by the end of 2050? Because if he does, I'd love to see what else is on there, because I haven't seen that anywhere. At the end of the day, they will all go through their approvals processes to get extensions done to their mines. Greenfield sites are brand new mines, brand new coal mines. And New South Wales government, state government, have said that there's going to be no brand new coal mines in New South Wales. That is what they've said there. But they've also signalled to everybody by saying whatever land you already own, you can continue to apply to have your mine extensions done through all of that process. And they've signalled that and done that very, very well. New South Wales has done that quite well. And now there's reassurance in the market, and now they're all going through their processes of what they need to do to make sure that they can go through the next part. So we've got HVO right now, who's going through their approval right now. Mount Pleasant's just gone through theirs. And I'm sure Mount Thorley Warkworth will be coming up very soon. There'll be many, many more coming through over this period of time, and we've just got to wait and see what they do. But these decisions will be made in boardrooms. They won't be made anywhere else, because at the end of the day, if it's not viable for somebody to run one of the mines, or they're not getting the quality of coal they need out of it, that is not a government decision. That is purely a decision from that business. Government doesn't own any coal mines. Government doesn't own any power stations in New South Wales. So these are all purely business decisions of what they will or won't do.
Are we going too fast in the transition? A lot of people are happy with it happening, but a lot of people feel like it's being ramped up too quick.
Some people say it's not happening fast enough. Some people say it's happening too quick. Some people say it's the exact right pace. And at the end of the day, we need to make sure we've got power for everybody to be able to use and be able to afford as well. And depending on what happens throughout the time and throughout approvals and how everything goes, will depend on how long it takes to do that. But we're seeing a lot of the coal-fired power stations, all the companies that are owning them, they're all looking at gas peaking plants. They're all looking at other options of power they could turn on and off as required, because right now you can't turn a coal-fired power station off or on as needed. You can't do that. They're starting to ramp them up and down a little bit, but there's only so far they can and can't go with that to be able to make more power or make less power at the end of the day. But we will see. Time will tell in this space. Investment in this area is all happening in renewables. There's a whole heap of investment happening into wind. There's a whole heap of investment happening in solar. There's a huge amount of investment happening into pumped hydro. Huge amount of investment happening into battery storage as well. And then you've got the home batteries that have came out, that we've now hit over 400,000 home batteries have been installed in Australia since the start of the financial year. So in less than 11 months, we've had 400,000 batteries installed. That is phenomenal. I just got one myself, and I'm still working how to try and use it and best get the best out of it. But there was good incentives there to do it, so many people have. And where they've been taken up the most is rural and regional Australia, not the cities. It's been rural and regional Australians that have taken this up in droves.
Do you feel as a person you've changed your opinion on some of these things? Because I mean, 2016 on a Facebook post you mentioned, to the mining critics that sit in the dark and freeze this winter. Do you think which you have acknowledged? Do you feel that you've changed your tune a little bit since joining government?
No, not at all. Because whilst we need this power, there's also new power generation coming in. Yeah. And for what we do in coal mining and what I've been part of, what hundreds of my mates are part of, is making sure we keep the lights on. All around the world. If we were to stop mining in this country tomorrow, we plunge half the world into darkness. And not only that, they're going to buy crap coal from elsewhere around the world. They're going to create a hell of a lot more emissions and burn 3 to 4 times the amount to get the same output they get out of our world's best coal and the cleanest coal in the world. And to any of the listeners that listen to this that are of the greener side of life, I'm sorry, that's a trigger warning. And I probably should have said that earlier, because they struggle with it when I say it's the cleanest coal in the world. But it's the truth. It is. And that's why we have many, many different groups and many, many different countries beating down our door for the best quality coal, and that's from right here in the Hunter.
I think that's another thing too, is that people are seeing other countries that probably aren't aiming for that net zero in other parts of the world, and it's almost like, well, why are we going to struggle if other places aren't bothering?
Yep, and that's the choice of the areas where they are. I could promise you, I'd much rather live in Australia than China or Indonesia, but they can choose to live wherever they want, and if they want to go there and see that style of living, then that's their choice.
Has this been a real ride for you since you got into being in Parliament?
I love what I do. I left school at 15 to become a tradie. I worked doing the maintenance for Ford and Toyota on the production lines. I've worked in mining. I've worked in agriculture. I've run some engineering shops. I've been lucky enough to travel the world in the sport I love. Going to 5 Olympics and also winning 3 Commonwealth Games gold medals and 3 bronze medals. I've been so lucky in what I've done in my life, and to now be able to represent the beautiful Hunter is just absolutely great to do, and I love what I do. And whether I'm there for 3 years or 30 years, I'm going to showcase what I believe we should be doing for the community as a politician and as an MP, and also have a bloody good time whilst I'm doing it, because we work hard, we work long hours, we do a hell of a lot of work in what we do, so you've got to enjoy it along the way as well. But I'm very, very lucky to have my role, and I also love what I do.
Just say you did in 3 years' time get knocked out, not saying anything, but what are you going to do? What do you think?
Reassess, have a look at life. You never know where life's going to take you.
What would you like to do?
If you had said to me 5 years ago, I'd be sitting here on your podcast talking utter wonderful work or garbage, depends how some look at it. Yeah. But if you had said to me we'd be here chatting about this 5 years ago, I'd say, what the bloody hell is wrong with you? Yeah. So you never know where life's going to take you. And to the listeners out there, especially younger listeners out there, never say no to an opportunity, even if the opportunity scares you and makes you feel a bit nervous and cautious. That's a good thing, because pressure is a privilege, and that's on the wall walking out in Wimbledon in the tunnel walking out to Wimbledon, and pressure is an absolute privilege. So I don't know what I'd go do, but I do know what I'm doing now, and that's working hard to try and make sure the Hunter has the best people looking after it, has the best people out there fighting hard with the ministers in Canberra to make sure we don't get left behind. And I love what I do, and for me, you work hard. Like I treat this like an Olympic Games. Yeah. So you work hard the whole way up to it. Election day is that day. Either you win or you lose. There's no in between. And then whatever happens from them, then you readjust and go to the next part of it, the next 4 years, or the next one after that, the next 3 years. Whatever it works out to be, you just continue to go.
What's something that the public would be shocked to learn about Dan Repacholi?
I don't like coffee and I don't like cake.
You don't like coffee?
No. Shit. No, I don't like coffee. I'm not a massive fan of hot liquiors.
Caffeine.
I like Coke Zero, and I've only just got onto Coke Zero in the last probably 2 years. I was a big Coke fan, and then Coca-Cola, that is, sorry, as well, by the way, listeners. And then my mates used to always tell me, I got to go on Coke Zero, and I just couldn't do it. But then I came around to it and gave it a go.
I was massive Diet Coke. I still like Diet Coke. And everywhere you go now, they go, oh, we got Coke Zero. I go, that's not Diet Coke. They say, but this is the alternative. I said, but that tastes like Coke. That's the reason I'm drinking Diet Coke, because it doesn't taste like Coke.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it is different. So Gordon Reid, he's the member for down at Robertson on the Central Coast, and he loves his Coke, his Diet Cokes, and I love these, and we have a bit of a little Coke off on this. Yeah, so I think I'm better on this. But yeah, don't like cake either. I don't like the texture in my mouth.
There's actually a guy, if you look it up, and I forget his name off the top of my head. He's from Cessnock. He grew up in Cessnock, and he went on to become the boss of Coca-Cola in America.
Yeah, really? I'll have to check that out.
I tell you what, it's the most unbelievable story. And he's retired in Florida now, but he grew up, born and bred. I think he went to TAFE in Cessnock.
Oh, good on him.
And got into a job in Coca-Cola, went all the way to the top. Should be a statue there.
Definitely should be. Could have Coke coming out the fountain on top of it.
Oh mate. I was going to say, if you had a statue, what would it look like?
Tall. It'd be very tall. Yeah. Hairy. I don't know how they get the glorious beard into that, but especially what I used to have that I don't have anymore. It's much, much shorter now. But we raise a lot of money for that, so it was well worth chopping it off.
We're going to wind it up here, but I've just got one more sponsor to mention just before you scoot off. Purnell Trophies, they're a brilliant Newcastle business. They've just jumped on board. How's your medals going at the moment? They still intact?
Look, I got a few there, but my Commonwealth Games ones are intact. I did lose one for a while there. I finished at a school one day, and put them all back in, but I unfortunately couldn't find one for a while. It hid behind the back of the seat.
Now, this is from Purnell Trophies. This is a little bit of a memento, if you want to read it out.
Thank you, Purnell Trophies. It is Dan Repacholi, still more accurate than most election promises, supported by Purnell's Trophies. Good work, Purnell's. I like that.
So as you know, Dan, on Incredible Lives with Cainey, we're about recognising success and celebrating the people that make our community what it is. That's why I'm proud to have Purnell Trophies supporting this podcast. Purnell's has been around since 1957. Can you believe that? They've helped recognise achievements across local sports, schools, businesses, charities and community events for generations, because every trophy, every medal, every award represents hard work, commitment, sacrifice and a story, which it sounds like you, just quietly.
Spot on. For all your trophy and medal needs, Purnell's Trophies is a place to be.
Purnell Trophies, 24 Broadmeadow Road, Broadmeadow, phone 49612 666. Dan Repacholi, thanks for joining me, and we'd love to see you again.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here, and hopefully we can not let the next invitation take 12 months for us to actually get together. So
it's a plan.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.